Hey there, guys, and welcome to another episode of Backyard Gossip. We are in the house again because it's still hot outside. Although, guys, it's kind of cloudy outside, right?
Today it is.
It is. Have you guys been getting like monsoon?
Yes.
You guys have?
Pool is a mess.
Yeah. Is it? We haven't seen on our side of town. We've seen clouds, but not enough water because I have like 5 plants that are dying right now.
So we're getting.
No, they're dead. Forget they're dying. They're dead.
We're not getting the dust, like the big monsoon clouds without dumps all the dust and all that. We're just getting the wind, which is blowing our neighbors' leaves into the pool. So more.
But are you getting the rain?
No, we've had a couple spring now.
Yeah, a couple of days where it rained for like 30 seconds and then it went away.
See,
just enough to mess up your car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry we went on kind of something else, but welcome to another episode of Backyard Gossip. My name is Maisha Fair.
I'm Jeremy Hanghead.
And I'm Elias Black.
And we are Backyard Gossip. And today, what are we talking about, guys?
Well, if this is your first time tuning in, we are Backyard Gossip, also known as BYG, where we talk about anything and everything related to real estate. And why? Because it's our show and we want to.
And we want to. And this is good stuff for you guys.
Yeah, y'all should tune in every week. Watch the other episodes.
Yeah, watch up. Yeah, absolutely.
What are we talking about today, Elias?
So today I wanted to talk about the importance of using it's a buyer seller's choice, but I hope that we can impart some information with them so that they make smart decisions in using the most qualified and most appropriate agent for them, and specifically part-time versus full-time agents and why it's important to use.
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably a full-time always.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's why.
Okay.
I was gonna say, why?
Jeremy and I were recently involved in a transaction. We were the listing agents, and we had an agent.
That means they represent the seller, just so you guys are aware.
Yes, thank you for that. So we were the listing agents representing the seller, and there was a buyer. There was a buyer's agent who was a part-time agent. He was an agent, and the agent also had another job somewhere else. So, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? At least from the consumer side, I think the consumer thinks, well, somebody. Jeremy said this in a previous video, but an agent goes to school, gets licensed, passes all the tests and all that, and so in the consumer's mind, oh well, they're an agent, they got licensed, they know what they're doing, they know what the hell they're doing. We're gonna be honest today, guys, because this kind of like it's bothersome for me because it impacts the consumer. That's you, and in a negative way. I just don't like it, but it is what it is. So part-time agent. Here's why it's important. I think it's important. What happened in our transaction was the agent started to miss timelines.
Wait a minute, just real quick, is this the same agent you told me that was licensed in another market too?
Is this tea? This is tea, ain't it?
Ooh.
Is it? Kind of? Just because I think you should touch on that a little bit, only because I think, but we can get into that.
Yeah.
But is this the same transaction?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh,
I know, it's juicy, huh? Okay. No names, of course, because we don't disparage agents. That's not That's not what this is about.
Just so you know, every agent is good at something,
Yes.
right?
Just not everything.
Yes.
Well, except for me.
Except for us.
Excuse me?
Or them, us, the mixture. Well, because you get 3 brains
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
at the cost of 1.
Right.
There you go.
But no, go ahead.
What's our combined years of experience?
Oh, don't do that.
I know.
Is
Okay.
Alicia trying to tell my age?
No. Anyways, okay. So a lot of years, decades. Anyway.
Yes. More than 20 years.
So here's the importance. You have in our transaction, what ended up happening, and so we had this agent who was missing timelines left and right. The buyer had 10 days to complete any and all inspections and to conduct any research about the area, like crimes, investigating crime stats and all of that fun stuff for the community to make sure.
And every buyer gets that opportunity,
Absolutely.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's what you negotiate. It can be less than 10 days. It can be more than 10 days. It's what a particular buyer and their agent negotiate in their contract.
Good. Okay.
In this case, it was 10 days. So what ended up happening is the buyer goes through their inspections, they do all of that. And then at the end of that, within that 10 days, the buyer has an opportunity to submit a request for repairs. Fair. Well, they sent over the request for repairs on day 11, which is one day after their 10 days expired. So truly what could have happened is our seller could have been a jerk and been like, hey, well, you missed your 10 days, so I'm not responding. because no response is a response, right? You missed your 10 days. Your response was no because you didn't ask for anything. So from the seller standpoint, well, you didn't ask for any repairs, so I don't need to make any repairs. But on day 11, we got a request for repairs.
Right.
So now, see where I'm going here? So
Yeah.
the seller could have said, hey, I'm not doing anything. You didn't send over your stuff in time. We're moving on. However,
Do you think, can I
Sure.
just interject? real
Yeah,
quick?
of course.
Do you think because that agent was licensed in other states,
Yes.
that they were not familiar 100% with the Arizona or the Arizona contracts
I guess,
here?
yeah, so what you're asking though, I think is to clarify, was
Because-
it because of her?
so
Like maybe there was some confusion because she's licensed, or this person is licensed in
Multiple states?
multiple states, and they weren't familiar with ours. Like here, it's calendar days,
correct.
not business days.
So this particular agent was licensed in 3 different states, and one of them including Arizona. The challenge with that is, while that sounds amazing on paper, like, wow, this agent passed 3 different tests in 3 different states, that sounds amazing. However, in this line of work, an expert agent who just is super, like us, we're top performing agents, we do an amazing job, but no agent can possibly know everything about every transaction that's happening or that has happened or that will happen. And that is the exact reason why we have broker support. And even brokers don't know everything, because brokers have, when they get to a point where there's something that they know more than we do, oftentimes because they're dealing with multiple agents and they're having to research the stuff more than we are. But even agents hit a roadblock at some point, and when they do, guess what they have? A legal support line. So when you have, going back to this, when you have an agent who's licensed in multiple states or 3, what I think ends up happening is you have a jack of all trades, master of none. It's just not possible for you. How are you going to remember I'm making this up, California contract, everything that goes in it, and all other dates, timelines, commitments, and then 2 other states? It's nearly impossible.
Right. And if the state is in a different time zone,
Correct.
do you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they're available. Let's say they're in Louisiana,
Sure.
and
So how do we think a consumer can protect themselves? Because this is really about, do you know what I mean? It goes back to, there's things that we know about the contract that the consumer doesn't know, and that's you guys. So they're trusting that we're giving them, right, the tools. Because I tell my clients all the time, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to make sure everything goes smooth. I'm here to answer any questions and make sure what you don't know, I'm equipping you to know something that you didn't know before. Do you know what I mean? So I do want to equip them to know what should be coming. How do they protect themselves for something like this? Because maybe, what did your client do? Did they give them the earnest money, or did they keep it?
So,
What did they do?
with-
Did they cancel? I shouldn't say earnest money, but did they choose to cancel after that? Or
Sure. So
did they make repairs?
in this case, our seller wanted to get the transaction done, so our seller went above and beyond and in good faith, even though they had missed the deadline, gave them the grace and allowed them to submit their request for repairs and even agreed to some of those repairs. Fair. Moving forward later in the transaction, the agent missed another timeline. Right? They missed another timeline. Property didn't appraise. There was an issue with that. And in that case, there's a timeline, because once you're notified that the property doesn't appraise, the buyer then has 5 days to figure that out. Who's going to pay the difference? Is it you, the buyer, you, the seller? Are they splitting at 50-50?
Curious. Though,
Yes.
What was this agent saying? Why was she missing these timelines?
Well, the funny thing was, is as we started to progress further along in the transaction, the agent became unresponsive. That then becomes a problem. So now that agent is due.
How often does this happen? Because the consumer thinks that this doesn't happen. So I know
more often than not.
And I know for me, I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, my client's probably thinking it's me, but they're not communicating. Sometimes agents, I don't know.
Yeah, so
It depends.
I can't speak for what that agent was telling their buyer. I have no idea, no way of knowing, and I would never even speculate. What I do know is there's a very clear breakdown in communication. You know, we're calling, texting, emailing, and if and when the agent would respond, it was 2 and 3 days later. Well, if we've issued a cure, meaning that agent, maybe meaning that buyer is in breach of contract. We're notifying you that you're in breach of contract, and then that party has 3 days to fix that cure. If they're not responding until day 3 or 4 after we've sent the notice, they're putting their client in jeopardy of losing their earnest money. We can cancel and keep their earnest money. And in some cases, that's $5,000. Sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's $10,000.
So what was the agent saying? Why was she missing these deadlines? Did she say it's because I didn't know, or she didn't really care?
Yep. So great question. Jeremy mentioned this earlier. He hit the nail on the head. The agent, again, was licensed in other states, and in another state, in a contract that she was super familiar with, the message was, oh, well, yeah, we had 5 business days to respond. Well, no, in Arizona, it's 5 calendar days. Right. And and by the way, Monday was a holiday, so it didn't count. Well, maybe that's right in another state, but in Arizona, calendar days, and if Monday is a holiday, it counts. If it's your birthday, it counts. And they missed it.
And you know what, that for you guys out there, this is why it's extremely important to work with agents in the market that you are comfortable with, right?
Absolutely.
And that know the market, know the contract in the market in which you're working with. And the other cool thing, that's why it's important to work with agents who have been around for a while and have a resource of agents, because we don't know every market, but believe you me, we know agents in those markets that can help you in the market that you're in, because we can't answer questions about your market. We can answer questions about Arizona's market.
Right.
But I think one of the things that the consumer has to realize is it's important to know that even if we're in Arizona, so if you're in Arizona and you sell here and want to move to Atlanta, we don't know Atlanta, but we'll get you an agent who does know Atlanta, right? And how important
and
that
who
is.
isn't a part-time agent, and who will respond to your calls, texts, and emails, and who will respond on time, so that you don't lose your earnest money and that you're not in jeopardy of missing timelines.
We can vet them a different way than you can ask, an agent, or you're picking an agent in a different state. We can vet them differently because we know the questions to ask. And if you're interviewing an agent, or you should connect with an agent, you should be asking, hey, what's your production like? How do you communicate with me? Are you a full-time agent or you're a part-time agent? That's a fair question to ask because it's important to you. Part-time agents don't have the knowledge, experience, the resources to effectively protect you. And so I think consumers need to ask those questions, and I think it's important that you do.
And I think too, for a part-time agent who may have another job or something like that, because keep in mind, everything is timeline, right? I can send you something and say, okay, Jer, I need you to respond in an hour, right? And if you're not available to respond in that hour, then your client misses out. So again, do you know what I mean? Because our timelines are...
Even if you're countering, right? Like if you're in a counter offer transaction and you need a response right away, do it.
Yeah.
Who's more accessible to do it, a part-time agent or a full-time agent?
Yeah.
Just remember that, folks. Jack of all trades, master of none. When you got those, and I'm not saying that everyone in this situation is horrible. I'm not saying that, but do your due diligence, investigate, and interview your agents. Ask them questions. It's okay. At the end of the day, they're applying for a job. You're their boss. Yeah. So make it work best for you.
And on another note, some part-time agents do really great. So this isn't to say that every agent out there that's part-time isn't going to do a great job, because there's some full-time agents who don't do as great a job as some part-time agents. But again, it goes back to what you said, Jeremy, is that people need to do their due diligence and interview agents and ask questions. Because your agent, if they're good, they're not going to be afraid to be interviewed. They almost are willing, they want that, because you know how good, because I know for me, I'm fairly confident you can interview 5 people. You're going to pick me at the end of it all. And I'm sure we all feel the same way.
Yeah, listen, I'm not a survey kind of thing. I'm not going to, we used to do, we used to do surveys and I had to get 5 stars, and we maintained a 5-star rating for 5 years. Yeah. That's not my thing. I don't like to have people do that. But if you ever want to know, look at my Facebook page, look at my Instagram page, see what my clients say, see my clients giving us hugs and doing all the stuff that we do, because that's what we do in this relationship building business.
For real. And every interview I go on, I play Remy Ma honest, conceited.
Oh my God.
Just to get me going. Just for me to. Oops, sorry guys. Just for get my stuff going, so I can walk in there like boom, bow.
So make sure
Check out his page, y'all. See.
I do a little dance in here. Okay. Anyway.
He does. Do you guys see? No, really, go check out his
I'm
page.
giving grace today.
Wait, go check out his page because he did this realtor dance. I don't even know what it was, but it was so cute.
It was just.
It was cute. Jerry used to be a dancer, but yeah, it was too. Okay, sorry.
Studio
No,
dancer,
you're
not
good.
like a.
It was.
A
pole dance?
yeah, no, not that.
That would be me, but that's okay. Just
And
kidding.
on that note, thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
To Backyard Gossip, please make sure you interview your agents, ask them
Yes.
questions. At the end of the day, we're all applying for a job, or they're applying for a job, and you're the boss. So make sure that it works best for you.
And we work for you.
That's
If
right.
you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell in Arizona, give us a call. We are happy to help. If you're looking to buy or sell in another state, that's okay. If you don't have an agent, give us a call, and we will find you a very competent,
Yes.
knowledgeable, helpful agent that you are absolutely going to love. We're happy to help, and we have the skills and the resources to do it.
All right. Until next time.
Catch the tea on the next BYG. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.